Welcome to Season 2 of the Mental Path Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Gretchen Guevara. I'm a psychiatrist and your go-to for real-life strategies to help you think, feel, and perform at your best. Here, I blend medical science, psychology, and personal development tools to build practical mental health habits and level up our self-care. Last week, we talked about those limiting thoughts that keep us feeling like we're never doing enough. Today, we're taking it a step further. I want to talk about something that keeps so many people stuck: self-doubt and confidence. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a meeting and wanted to speak up, but you hesitated? Or maybe there was a project, a new role, or even a passion you've been thinking about starting, but that little voice in your head keeps whispering, "You're not ready. What if you mess up?" Maybe you've even turned down an opportunity that could have been amazing because deep down, you weren't sure you could pull it off. That's self-doubt creeping in, and trust me, we all wrestle with it. The problem is, when self-doubt becomes your default, it chips away at your confidence, fuels anxiety, and keeps you playing small. It tricks you into thinking you need to feel confident before you take action. But confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you train. Think of confidence like a muscle. You don't wake up one day suddenly feeling strong. You build strength by showing up, doing the reps, and proving to yourself that you can handle it. The same goes for confidence. You need to keep showing up. So today, I'm going to break down exactly how to train your confidence, step by step, so that instead of waiting to feel ready, you can start becoming confident, embodying the boldness that you've always wanted. All right, let's get into it. I remember when I was first asked to teach medical students during residency. I should have been excited. It was an honor to be in that position. But instead, my brain immediately went into full imposter syndrome mode. What if they realize I don't know enough? Who am I to be teaching them when I'm still learning myself? What if I mess up and look totally unqualified? Man, the self-doubt was too loud, and I almost let it stop me. But instead of giving in, I reminded myself that no one expects me to be perfect. They just need me to show up, share what I know, and be willing to learn with them. So I did it anyway. And guess what? It wasn't perfect. I stumbled over my words. There were days I second-guessed myself. But the more I showed up, the more my self-confidence grew. And now teaching is something I love, and I'm pretty good at it. That's the first thing I want you to understand. Confidence doesn't come from already knowing everything. It comes from being willing to step in before you feel ready. If you wait until you feel confident before you start something, you'll be waiting forever. So, how do we actually build confidence? It comes down to three things: your mindset, your skills, and your willingness to take action. Let's start with mindset. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm just not a confident person," your brain will find proof to support that belief. That's confirmation bias. Your brain scans for evidence that reinforces what you already believe about yourself. So if your inner dialogue is full of, "I'm not good enough, I don't belong here, I'm going to fail," your brain will believe that's true even when it's not. And on top of that, one of the biggest mindset traps that keeps people stuck: comparison. We do this constantly, scrolling through social media and watching people who seem more confident, more successful, and more put together. It's easy to think, they have something I don't. But there's so much more that you don't see. The years of repetition, failures, and growth that got them there. The person who seems super confident, they weren't born that way. They built it, just like you're about to. One of my favorite reminders is that you should only compare yourself to the version of yourself from yesterday. Confidence is about trusting that you're becoming better, on your way to the best way of being you are aiming for. So let's shift that focus inward. Think about how you see yourself right now. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? Now, think about the most confident version of you. What are their 3 words? What would need to shift for you to start embodying that version of yourself today? Confidence starts in your mind, and one of the most powerful shifts you can make is reframing self-doubt. Instead of, "I'm not ready for this," tell yourself, "I'm figuring this out as I go." instead of thinking, what if I mess up? What if I fail? Remember that every expert started as a beginner. Everyone started as an amateur. Here's another thing. Confidence doesn't mean being completely free of fear or anxiety. It's not about being 100% ready every single time. It's about moving forward despite these obstacles and fine-tuning your approach based on lessons learned. Now, this brings us to mastery. Confidence grows from repetition and skill building. Think back to your first job interview. You probably felt nervous and overanalyzed everything you said. Then, after getting through a few more interviews, you likely became more comfortable and confident. You started to feel more in control. That's because confidence builds through experience. I see this with my medical trainees all the time. At first, they hesitate, afraid to make a mistake, worried about saying the wrong thing. But the more they practice, the more second nature it becomes. And that's when confidence starts to shine. If you want to build confidence in any area of your life, start small. Stack tiny wins. If speaking up in meetings make you anxious, commit to making one comment per meeting. If social situations feel intimidating, challenge yourself to make eye contact and say hi to a new person. If you doubt your expertise, try teaching one small thing to someone else. One of the best confidence hacks I love is start messy. As long as it's safe, it's okay, adjust as you go. Finally, the last key to building confidence is taking action. I know fear feels so real. And again, confidence is not the absence of fear. It's your ability to act even when you're scared, even when you're nervous or anxious. When you feel self-doubt creeping in, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what's the smallest step I can take right now? Maybe it's raising your hand in that meeting. Maybe it's making that phone call. Maybe it's hitting that publish on that project you've been overthinking. Whatever it is, just take the next immediate step, because action is the fastest way to rewire your brain for confidence. So here's your challenge for this week. Pick one area where you've been waiting to feel confident. Really think about what's the next realistic, smallest action that you can take to move towards it right now. Plan it, do it, follow through. Not perfectly, not without fear. Just keep taking the next step. Confidence isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a skill you train over and over and over. Trusting that you'll get better each time. Trusting it will grow. You are so capable. If your heart is in the right place, you'll get to where you want to be. If today's episode resonated with you, please send it to someone who needs to hear this. We all need a confidence boost once in a while. And if you try these strategies, message me. I love hearing about your wins. That energizes me. Next week, we're bringing it back to physiology. Your body and your mental health influence each other. If you feel good physically, you feel happier, calmer, and more confident. One of the biggest factors that impact your mood is nutrition, and we'll discuss how that ties into your mental health. See you next Monday.